Welcome everybody to the Miami Hurricanes 2023 football season preview and my personal predictions. So, let's get started right away because football's back, baby. Woo! Alright, Miami Hurricanes football coming off from a really disappointing 5-7 season, which was, to me, it's a Hurricanes fan that's been really pathetic. It was awful. It was awful. And there are a few problems that made it tough to watch. What made it tough to watch is the play calling of the offensive side wasn't sharp, especially in the big games and winnable games, especially if it's a team like Middle Tennessee. That loss hurts our reputation in the Hurricanes program. That was really bad. It's one thing if you lose like that with Alabama, A&M, which Texas A&M was a close game, or Florida Gators, and regrettably, if I say it, FSU. It's another when you lose to a team like Middle Tennessee. It was tough. So many problems. The defensive coverage was awful, and it's been proven awful in the FSU game. So Kevin Steele, I called out for Kevin Steele to be completely removed. And for the offensive side of things, what really stood out of the offensive play calling is that Tyler Van Dyke, could he throw the football deep? He could, but how was the run route? Is it good or is it bad? And it was bad. It was bad. It was really bad. So after that one season, offensive coordinator for the Miami Hurricanes was let go, and we had a replacement. So, the offensive coordinator name was Josh Gaddis. He who shall not be named. That was as pathetic as it comes. So, who are the new guys for the coaching staff? So, Mario Cristobal, not playing around. So, Mario Cristobal, I'll say this with Mario Cristobal. Mario Cristobal, he has that football attitude, mindset to win a football game, and his mindset is to win a national championship. So, really good coach. I think he's a good coach. So he wanted to hire someone who knows how to win football. So he hired Shannon Dawson from, I believe, University of Houston, one of the best offensive coaches out there. I say good hire. However, a new system, can it work? Will it work for Tyler Van Dyke? Let's find out. Then for a defensive side, Lance Guidry. I think it's Guidry. He's a defensive coordinator from Marshall's University. He had a pretty good defense. Not great, but good enough. So I'm curious to see what happens in this one. Practices looked pretty good as far as I knew. But those are the hires for the coaching staff for the Miami Hurricanes. So now we take a look at the depth chart. We got Tyler Van Dyke, who's dealing with a hand injury. I personally believe he's going to play this Friday or tomorrow on this time, the time of the upload. By the way, by the time this video uploads, I probably already be in Florida by then. So we got Tyler Van Dyke, who are the backups of Jacurri Brown and Emory Williams. Jake Garcia has transferred to Missouri. Henry Parrish Jr., who has been running back. He's a great running back, I will say. Kobe Young Jr., Jacoby George Jr. Backup is Tyler Harrell. And a slot with a big name, I believe he was the one that got hurt last season. Xavier Restrepo Jr. He's the big guy who we talk about with the off season, with the injuries that happened last season. I think he was that person who got hurt majority of the year. He was that star wide receiver, and that hurts to lose him like that. So, he's a big question. Is he the guy who, especially with the punt return, is he the guy who can return punts? I'm not quite sure. However, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens right there. New tight end is Elijah Arroyo. Will Mallory, who has been drafted, I think, to the Colts. I forgot. So the backup is Ken McCormick, as well as Jaleel Skinner. Now we go to the off. Now there's a big key here: the offensive line. We got big recruits, especially with Samson and Kulola, who is a freshman, 5-star. Now the starter for here is Jalen Rivers, who is a sophomore. And I say junior because I say junior with previous names because they're juniors in their years of college. Now, the guys who came in as a big-time recruits, I don't care if it's 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, they're in to play football. However, they need to get the college experience. They got to get college experience first, and by learning how the college game works, I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea because if they can learn the college rep, then they're gonna be monsters in the upcoming years. So think of this as a step to the right direction, preparing for the big season coming up. I don't know if it's gonna be this season, and I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not the type to lie, and I hardly lie at all. I just don't have a reason to lie. Now, for this season, I predict we're probably gonna have a good. I'm predicting a better season than last season. However, I'm predicting a bowl win, and let me explain why. National championship is our big mindset. Winning a bowl game, I believe, is the right direction to get up there because it opens the door for bigger name players, especially in the class of 2024, who we got big names, especially the transfer as recently as Jaleel Burroughs. I think that's his name. The guy from Alabama. Burroughs. So, what happens is it creates a notice of the NCAA. Ooh, this team looks good. This team looks good enough to, I want to compete for the championship right there. So they go to Miami. It's a big step to the right direction. In my personal opinion, you can disagree with it. I think it's a personal step to the right direction. Now, anyway, back to the depth chart. Javion Cohen. Next up is Matthew Lee, who is a senior. Anez Cooper and Francis Magoa, who is a freshman. Now we go to the defensive side of things. Akeem Mesidor, who is a junior, who is backed up by Ruben Bain, who is a freshman. Branson Dean, who is a senior, who is the defensive tackle. Another defensive tackle is Leonard Taylor, who is a junior. Nigelic Kelly, who is a sophomore. Wes Bicenthi, I think that's how you pronounce it. I could be wrong. Another sophomore. Kiko Magoa, junior. Takori Couch, senior. Devontae Brown, junior, a good cornerback. And Damari Brown, who is one of the big recruits that happened this past off season or last season too, is a freshman. Next safety, James Williams and Cameron Kitchens, who are both juniors, and they are backed up by Markeith Williams and Brian Ballum. Now, for the special teams, we got Dylan Joyce, who is a freshman, who is a backup by Will Hutchinson. And the new kicker is Antti Borgals, not Jose Borgals. He plays for the XFL team Orlando Guardians, who, coincidentally enough, they both play in the state of Florida, and they both wear green. But anyway, we should know, and I'm reading this off theathletic.com. Cristobal said running back Trevante Citizen, knee, and offensive lineman Jonathan Dennis, knee, Zion Nelson, and Antonio Tripp, shoulder, will not be available to play to start the season following off-season surgeries. Could be back in the weeks and months ahead. So there's some injury notes right there as right off the bat. Barring the injuries to the players in front of the rotation, and again, I'm quoting this from athletic.com, the rotation, I expect 16 of the 24 true freshmen to be in position to earn red shirts, including running back Chris Johnson Jr., receiver Robbie Washington, offensive lineman Trip Frankie Tenilo, sorry if I get that wrong, and Tommy Kinsler, tight ends Riley Williams and Jackson Carver, defensive linemen Jaden Wayne, Josh Horton, and Collins Akamapong. I apologize. Linebackers Bobby Washington Jr., not Robbie Washington, but Bobby Washington, not Robinson. I apologize. I'm tired, and I gotta catch an early flight. Raul Aguilar Jr., Marcellus Polium, and Malik Bryant. And now cornerbacks Robert Stafford and safety Caleb Spencer. Though that is a roster notes from the Athletic player projections. Miami struggled with trust and confidence with the passing game last year, which I said that before, because Josh Gattis' play calling was just not good. But Cristobal feels that once the strongest part of the season entering the 2023 season, does that mean we should expect a healthy Tyler Van Dyke to put up the kind of numbers he did over the final 6 games of the 2021 season? 366 yards per game, 20 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, when he finished as the nation's 11th ranked passer. I'm not buying that because Miami is still going to run the football a lot. But I do expect to see Van Dyke's come close to matching Justin Herbert's numbers at Oregon's in his senior years, which was 3,471 yards, 32 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. If Van Dyke play all 12 regular season games, I'm calling for him to complete the 64% of his passes for 3,231 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 8 picks, which should make him a top 40 quarterbacks in terms of QBR. And that is, again, a quote of theathletic.com. Basically, they're projecting Tyler Van Dyke to build confidence into the season and win more ball games for the Miami Hurricanes. Now, for in terms of everything else, Will Mallory, like I said, he's been drafted. He was our star player. Okay, so good luck to him in the NFL. So that's pretty much it. What they're saying is they're predicting that the defense should get just a little bit better, and they're also predicting that the linebackers should make some better pressures, especially in the pass rush. And they're also predicting that with the help of Shannon Dawson's playmaking, we should expect to see them run the ball into more and passing more deep into the wide open coverage, as Van Dyke has been dreaded for last season, because last season they didn't do that. And with that scenario in mind, we want to have a better record than 5-7. 5-7 was, especially a big program like this, garbage. Should not happen. Garbage. Okay. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, we're going to talk about the schedule. If I can bring it up. There we go. So we start off Friday, Miami Hurricanes versus Miami Redhawks, Miami, Ohio. who is the true Miami team? Who's the true Miami City? Is it Oxford or is it Florida? And for me, I would say this. I guarantee you Miami's going to win this one. So that's the first matchup, September 1st. Next up, big match against Texas A&M. That's on national television, ABC. After that, it's against Bethune-Cookman, which we thought that Eric Reed is going to be coaching that one, but he is not, which is a shame. School from Daytona, Florida, coming back down to Miami to see what happens or get jobbed. After that, it's against Temple. Next up, now we go to ACC opponents, Georgia Tech. Next up is a tough matchup against North Carolina. Next up is another tough task against Clemson. Then our next match against Virginia Cavaliers. Then our next match against NC State. Then the next match on Veterans Day against oh boy. If we want revenge, I would love some revenge on this one. FSU. And next against Louisville, and we finished off regular season against Boston College. So about a 12-game schedule. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12-game schedule. So that's their opponents: Miami, Ohio, Texas A&M, Bethune, Temple, Georgia Tech, North Carolina, Clemson, Virginia, NC State, FSU, Louisville, and Boston College. Now I can finally my own prediction. Who is going to win those games? Okay. September 1st, we got Miami, Ohio, the Red Hawks. With a matchup like this, I gotta go with the Hurricanes. Battle of Miami. Who's the true Miami team? Who's the true Miami? Miami, Florida. I think they got this one. Sorry, Miami, Ohio. Then we got a game against Texas A&M, and you know what? We were relatively close to last time. I'm probably gonna say we prevailed this one. I know it's a big pick, but I think we can predict this one. I personally think we can barely pass through Texas A&M. I'm going to say we win this one and we make a big statement. 2-0 so far. Then Bethune comes down, and we beat them. Convincingly. Then next up is against Temple. I think we got this one too. So 4-0 of the season. Then next up against Georgia Tech in Miami. I'm going to say we got this one too. Then we go up to North Carolina, and I think this is where we get our first loss. North Carolina always seemed to edge out against Miami Hurricanes. I think this might happen here again. I'm going to go with North Carolina this one, and you can disagree with me all you want, but I'm gonna say North Carolina just edged out Miami. Then we come back home against Clemson, and Clemson, they're so tough. They're so tough to beat. I think Clemson has this one too. Then we play against Virginia, where Virginia always gives us a hard time, but I think we get this one as well. Then we play against NC State. I think Miami, and this is a big. That's tough. When I went to see them play against NC State, we were projected to lose, and we won just barely by a point. And I was at that game too with my friends Louis Knott and everything track 18. I'm not sure. I'm probably gonna think. As confident as I am, I'm not sure. NC State's has been pretty good. I'm gonna say Miami edges out NC State. Why not? I'll say that. Now for FSU, our big rival. Now we made it this far. So let's see, 5-0, 5-2, 7-2 against our big time opponents, FSU. I don't think we have enough to beat them. I gotta be honest here. I don't think it's enough. I don't think our team is enough to beat FSU. I'm gonna say Florida State has this one, and I'm so gonna get hated for this, but I have to be real with you. I just don't think we have enough to beat FSU. I just don't. FSU completely humiliated us on national television. Let me remind you this. It was on ABC. ABC, this FSU MIA matchup last year. It was garbage. That match was garbage. 45-3. That is not Miami football. I at least want it to be close. I at least want to lose knowing that we tried. Then we play against Louisville. I think we got this one. And we play against Boston College. I think we got Boston College this one. So regular season record, I think 9-3. We finished off the year and we eligible for a bowl game. We'll see what happens. I could be wrong, but I project Miami to finish the season 9-3 with 3 losses: North Carolina, Clemson, and FSU. And I'll come back to this video after the season to see my the look back video of what my predictions was like. So we'll see what happens, and that's gonna do it for this video, folks. If you have enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe for more content, because Miami Chief G has your back. And when he does, he'll be right there with the entertainment you deserve. Miami TV signing out. Season 3 tomorrow, and I'll see you guys then. Good night, everybody. I'll see you guys season 3. Go Canes, baby. Let's win. Let's get this show going. Let's win a game. Let's go to the championship. Hopefully. All right, guys. Good night.